53. Back on the podcast. Peter Ignaszewski. Great to have you.
I'm back, thanks.
Long time no see. Where have you been hiding?
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Not much.
Racing
Just
around.
road trips.
Yeah,
lately.
that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before we do, Damon Weinandt, co-host of the podcast. Great to have you, Damon.
Great to be here, Ethan.
For everyone who hasn't been tuning into the podcast or has never tuned in,
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Yeah. This is the Ethan Clerc podcast show. It's a variety show. Just want to give you a little background on it. We've been going now, episode 53. Pete's having some issues here with the headphones. Not hearing anything, Pete?
Nope, we're good. Hit the wrong one.
One ear, Pete.
So it's a variety show talking about a lot of different things. Every week is different, and I don't know how else to describe it really. Just a lot of different topics and a lot of different things. So
Fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Educational, though.
Educational.
We
Yeah.
always learn something, and I hope everyone else always learns
Exactly. Across the table, Colin, Clerc, great to have you, my brother.
Good to be back.
Good to be back on the podcast in the Bark of Wyndham. And I do have to give a little plug here. The Bark will be putting on a haunted house in October, the Haunted Schoolhouse, and it is going to be running every weekend in October. And I just got word that they are selling out very quick, so you need to pre-order your tickets, and you could do that at the Bark. And you could go on the Bark. There's a Facebook page for the Haunted Schoolhouse, so definitely do that if you're planning on going. If you're in the Wyndham, Minnesota area, if you're from other parts of the country. You can travel here. You can travel here.
I've
Greg,
heard people have driven down for it or driven up.
Greg told me 70% of the people that attend are from out of town. So there's a lot of people that come a long way.
Because everyone's here doing the haunted house.
Yeah. From
Ethan, do you know what the theme is this year?
the theme this year is the Devil's Hole prison. It's a penitentiary, actually. Devil's Hole penitentiary. So you are wrongly convicted. You are wrongly convicted of a crime, and you're sentenced to this prison. And then you're in the haunted house. You actually have to escape from the prison. So your tour guide is a fellow convict, and
Yeah,
you're gonna be wearing handcuffs the whole time.
Very interactive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When this haunted house is known for being extremely interactive. Like, it's not just your typical walkthrough
You know,
guy.
if you can't afford to go to the spaceship where they're making like a spaceship, Star Wars spaceship into a hotel. Have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah, they're doing, I don't know if it's Florida or California, but they're building a whole hotel that looks like a spaceship, and you go in for 3 days. All the windows are video screens, so it looks like you're in outer space. And then like the evil empire comes and tries to load the ship while you're on there. And you go to secret meetings while you're on there, but
You can never go to bed because in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and it starts shaking. So if you can't afford that or don't want to travel there,
Yeah.
come to the bar.
This is the next best thing.
Spaceship under attack.
So, all night long. Oh, we gotta get up again and go tap.
Colin would be the guy at the door just doing that in front of the hallway, thinking he's part of the show.
Right when you go back to bed, spaceship under attack, and then you gotta get back up. So, Bark Haunted Schoolhouse, like I said, every weekend in October. So definitely come out, check that out. We got to do a little plug because the Bark is letting us use this room and other rooms.
The Bark's done a lot for us over the years.
Bark's done a lot for us.
We used to help out with the Haunted Schoolhouse too.
Yep, and I will be doing a video this year for this event.
Because Mousetrap was the first one.
Mousetrap was the first one where we were just talking about that, yeah. And that is, while we're talking about Halloween-related stuff, October is going to be a big month for us for the podcast.
Yeah, big month for the Ethan Clerc podcast.
Been talking to all of our previous paranormal, demon hunting, everybody, and I got word from Adrian and Tom that they're both going to be coming back on. So Tom Urban, the demon hunter, was on the episode. One of Peter's favorite guests on there.
That's right.
Tom's
and then, a legend.
One of our most
not
popular
there.
guests, Adrian Lee, who's been on the podcast many times, will be coming back in October. We're going to be doing a big special episode with him. Next week on the podcast, we do actually know the guest. It's a surprise. But I'm going to be telling you what we're going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about serial killers and the psychology behind serial killers. That'll be in Wyndham. Maybe we'll get Pete back here to produce that one. It's going to be very interesting. This guy's been doing research for the past month on a couple very specific serial killers, and he's going to break down why he thinks they decided to kill people, if it's something they could have stopped.
I'm going to come to learn then.
It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, he's a psychologist, and he's been doing research on this behavioral psychologist, so he knows about like the background and stuff. So it's going to be very good. And then we're going to get Adrian on, we're going to get Tom on, and then we're going to get a brand new paranormal investigation crew in Wyndham. I think it's called DJ PD Investigations, Danny and those guys.
Yep, the boys.
Yeah, the boys. They'll be coming on 1 week. So October is going to be a really big month for the podcast. A lot of ghost hunting, demon hunting, serial killers, creepy stuff.
God bless us all.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good month.
Can we expect new merch for the
New merch for Halloween coming out, of course, so you're going to want to check that out.
A new Wilder Demon design, maybe?
We do have the Wilder Demon design up on the website. We also have the Wilder Demon investigation team up on the website, so check those designs out if you want to get one of those. Highly recommend. Again, Cold Barons did all the designing for those T-shirts, so very cool. This week on the podcast, though, we're going to be talking about our past road trip, and we're going to be talking about a couple other things. While we're talking about some local things, Minneapolis, there was a string of gang beatings going on. I don't know if you saw anything about this, and if you guys...
I did see a clip.
Right outside
I didn't watch the clip. I didn't watch the clip. I didn't want to watch it, but
we're gonna watch it.
Maybe I'll look out the window.
Yeah, they are.
It's really bad.
Very violent, and the cops do not really know what is going on. Why are these crimes just happening? There's
stealing cell phones, aren't they?
Yeah, stealing cell phones. More than the 50% increase in robberies in the first precinct of Minneapolis this year, and very weird. Pete, if you want to pull the video up there, it's called Man Beaten by Gang in Minneapolis. There's no audio.
There's a warning if anyone's watching.
Warning, it is very graphic. It's not bloody.
Also graphic reading about.
It is, yeah, it is. So here's the guy's sitting right there. You can see him. He's just the one guy. He pulls his phone out, and that's what they're going for. They're going for the cell phones.
Guys have his phone.
This happened, if people don't know, right outside of Target Field. You can see the baseball statue.
There's Harmon Killebrew
We were
right there.
just standing there last night, and it's just a very busy public area. Like, I don't know how this happened.
Is this during the day, or their
During the
camera's just
day.
that good?
This is during the day, yeah. Yep. I'm pretty sure, if not like evening, right before the sun went down. So they come up to him, try grabbing his phone. He obviously says
like
no.
8 or 9 of them around
Yeah.
him.
Well, wait till you see how many there are.
It just keeps going.
So they try taking his phone. He says no. They punch him in the face. And then if you notice, they all disappear here. They all go attack him. And then somebody moves the camera. So there's someone out there that saw this going down operating the camera. Watch, you'll see it.
Hopefully, then they're probably calling police, though, too, while it's happening. You're on dispatch.
Yeah, the police never showed up when this happened. I think everyone
Just
got away.
right
But
afterwards.
they did get a lot of people did get arrested here. They'll move the camera. You see them, they attack them. The guys chuck them to the ground. They just keep attacking them. They won't leave them alone. There, they move the camera. See? I don't know what these guys, why anyone would do this to another human being. Like what?
Yeah, look at this. This is the dumbest thing.
Jumping in the air on them. This guy just, look at these guys got to be on drugs. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're just flinging around their bodies and. God, there's so many of them.
Then they start stripping them down.
Yeah, this guy is trying to get his phone. He keeps taking it, not letting him. They take his shoes off. Now they're taking his pants off. Pants are off. He's chucking them. Now they're going to try to take his underwear off. He's not letting that happen. And I think they got his phone now. They're showing it to him like they got his phone. And they're continually beating him. So it's a ruthless beating. And like kicking him in the face. They just keep coming, too. More and more of them.
Then some guy rides a bike over him.
There's so many people.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys now that I can see. And none of them are helping him or anything. Oh, there's a 12th guy. I can't believe how many guys there are. And they just keep attacking him, too. I don't understand. Look at this.
Mob mentality, they're going at it. And there's that guy, that guy looks like he's seriously injured.
Yeah, look at that. They're chucking flower pots at him.
They're like, no, they could kill him. I mean, you could punch someone with one punch and kill him.
Yeah, now they're whipping him with something. And then pretty soon here comes the guy with the bike. Rides a bike over him. It's nonstop. Chuck another flower pot at him. And then I think they end up leaving.
That guy just got up.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't look like anything there. I mean, they didn't land any crazy big punch. I mean, they were punching him and stuff, but nothing like too crazy. But either way, they're just attacking the
they're
hell out of
jumping
him.
on his stomach and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
knocked
yeah.
the wind right out of
Yeah,
you.
there's a news article, or there's a short news clip about this right there, Pete. Click the following that one, yeah. Hopefully this audio works. Crap, you're going to have to plug the thing back in and unplug it, the headphone thing. This is actually a string of.
Is this a new one or what?
Yeah, there's been multiple going on. Unplug it and plug it back in, Pete. There's been a string of these going on in downtown Minneapolis, and they just don't understand why. Isn't it 9:10?
Well, they're used to do. These guys aren't video. It doesn't look like they're.
You gotta minimize this, Pete. Minimize it.
It doesn't look like they're video it themselves, but there's all those videos where people just walk up to random people and punch them just for the video itself.
They're hit headphones. And then, okay, now go back to the video, see if it plays. Yeah, there was, maybe you have to turn it up, Pete. Turn it up, hit the volume button on the computer. It's probably muted.
What's going to happen when they run into someone with conceal and carry?
What's going on here?
When they run into someone who's got a conceal and carry and they're
really?
carrying a weapon.
Oh, it's not working.
Dang.
or if I wonder if they have weapons for that instance if someone pulled out.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is so weird.
Is that one of those bikes that you rent that they had back there?
It could be, yeah. I don't know why we're not getting any audio though. That's so weird.
Well, anyways, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
horrible.
Keep your
Yeah.
Like
they're showing the same video again, and they're just.
This
talking
guy doesn't
about
think he's probably in a situation that's in the middle of the daytime and he's standing by Harmon Killebrew, the statue. You
No,
know,
yeah. Well, it was weird because he's sitting there and they're all kind of looking at him, but they're not like doing anything to him. I don't know why he was just sitting there with all of them, like what they were doing.
Yeah.
If he would have tried to get up, though, they would have.
They would have tried to do something.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was weird. I don't really understand it. I don't really get what's going on. But ever since the police started making these arrests, whatever, they made a whole bunch of arrests on these guys. And apparently the crime's gone way down. There was only 3 of them last week or something, which is still bad.
gang style. I mean, like, yeah, jumping people.
I wonder. Do you think it's gang related?
Well, I don't know. There's a gang of them. I mean,
are there gangs in Minneapolis? Is it that bad?
Are you seriously asking that question? Yeah, there's gangs.
I mean, I find it hard to believe that there's too much organized crime going on in Minneapolis. I mean, compared to like Chicago or New York.
Compared to maybe. But yeah.
I mean, obviously every town's got some bad stuff going on, but I find it hard to believe that there's very much going on in, what is it, the Corn Hustlers versus the Bean Boys? Like, who in Minnesota?
What baseball team was in town that weekend? Maybe at Target Field.
I don't know. It was very weird to me that that's going on, and I'm hoping that there's so many cameras down there. These guys got to be idiots, thinking that they're going to get away with it.
Yeah, and that's what they did. They matched up some of the guys from other ones.
They did arrest 20 guys, so a lot of them got caught, and hopefully their buddies or whatever learn, and they're not going to try to go out and risk going to jail.
It's so unfortunate. I mean, I just want to put in a plug after talking about all that positive stuff last time. I mean, those guys need to find a clown to cheer them up.
They need something in their lives.
But I mean, how do you rehabilitate when you have a mentality of kicking someone when they're down, jumping on them, riding over the bike? I mean,
that's crazy.
Throwing flower pots on them, that's overkill.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not a disagreement. That's,
it's...
Well, it didn't even look like there was an argument or anything going on. He was just minding his own business.
Yeah.
Just for the thrill of it.
They're just trying to attack people.
There's probably some psychology that'll intermix with what we talk about next week with serial killers and the mentality of someone who thinks it's right just to jump people and cause pain to people.
I think it's drugs, honestly. I think that's the only way you can explain it. Flocka's the only way you can explain it.
One of Pete's favorites.
So that is the local scoop of the podcast. I have another thing here to bring up quick. Michael Cimino, who has been updating me weekly on the Area 51 thing, which is coming up here in
2 days.
Well, the podcast airs tomorrow, so it'll be out Friday.
Don't give away
the big
the magic.
Day. Yeah. So Area 51 celebration set as online betting site lays odds on number of arrests. So people are betting on the number of people getting arrested. There are just 3 more days before September 20th, the date which an infamous Facebook post urged readers to storm Area 51. The mysterious top-secret Air Force base near Rachel, Nevada. Some pointed comments by the FBI, U.S. Air Force, and local authorities made the posters insist it was all a joke and instead focus on promoting a festival called Alien Stock. I never heard that was going to be the name. While Alien Stock is morphing into a celebration, no one knows how many UFO tourists will appear in Nevada this weekend. The original Storm Area 51 page says that 2.1 million people are going, with another 1.5 million interested. Speculation on how many people will show up and what their intentions and actions will be is so intense that online betting site betonline.ag literally set odds on how many people will be arrested. In the peculiar language of sports betting, you can bet that over 8.5 people will get arrested at odds of negative 120, or that under 8.5 people will be arrested, negative 120.
8.5 is the over-under? That's all?
Yeah. Another prop bet, will anyone illegally access Rachel military area? Yes is plus 500. No is negative 1,000.
Oh, man. Well, that's interesting. They're putting odds that low on it because I was going to,
Yeah, I would bet on...
I bet the over on 8.5.
Yeah, you can also bet on whether Donald Trump will tweet about Area 51 this week. Well, 100%. The man who created...
What's the over-under on that?
I don't know. It doesn't say the over-under on that. The man who created the Facebook page essentially as a site for internet UFO memes backed away from the dramatic call to see them aliens, saying it was all a joke. So
this might just fizzle out. If they're only putting 8.5 people maybe get arrested. That might be in the hundreds.
Dropping out of the festival, decrying what he calls a lack of infrastructure, poor planning, risk management, and blatant disregard for the safety of the expected 10,000 plus alien stock attendees that threatened to turn into Firefest 2.0.
Firefest.
I hope not.
pulled out of alien stock. There is still a huge event happening out there. 35-plus bands on 2 stages. Nothing in Rachel has been canceled. Wow, which is weird because I thought that they canceled everything in Rachel. So that is the big update for the alien thing, which is happening soon. What do you guys think for your final thing before it actually happens? Since this is the last podcast before the big event.
Think it's going to turn into a yearly event?
No way. I don't think so.
Maybe.
I think a lot of people are going to get arrested, and I think
well, yeah, but
there could be some even worse stuff happening.
See, I've been saying for 2 months, and I don't even know much about it. But I was saying around 100,000, but I could be totally off. Like people going, and 327 popped in my mind for people getting arrested, and the over-under is only 8.5.
Yeah.
So I must be way off. I better take those numbers down a bit.
I don't know what's going to happen. I just think either way, it's going to be a good story. We'll update you after.
Who's the bands? I mean, are they getting a good draw?
I don't know who their bands are. Megadeth is going up.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
AC/DC.
Yeah. So the next podcast topic this week is the main one. Well, I guess we have 2 main ones. We're going to be talking about the road trip, which we just got back from. The down and over trip, we call it. We went down on, well, if people don't know, we go on road trips a lot, travel around the country. We're into urban exploring, so checking out abandoned buildings and rooftops and stuff like that. Excuse me. So we just went on a big road trip.
Not me. I'm back here working.
Damon's back here working.
I was the only one not on this road trip.
Yeah, we're just going to tell you some of the stories because there's some interesting stuff that happened, some funny things. So just to give people a background, we went down to New Orleans and Atlanta, and on the way down we went through Memphis, and I actually brought some pictures here, Pete. The down and over trip. If you click that.
Colin, from the trip.
Yep.
Got my Atlanta. Oh,
me and
Ethan
Colin,
does too.
Me and Colin got our Atlanta shirts on. Pete's got the.
Nice.
That's not from the trip. So Pete, if you just want to go through some of these, we'll just start off right away. Oh, that's actually at the end of the trip. So, well, you can hit the arrows to go through them.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of like one of those movies you start
Like
from.
on the keyboard, Pete, you can
Start from the back and see
Yeah,
how we
yeah.
got there.
So here is the first thing we hit. For people that are listening, we're just going to go through some pictures here. This is the Memphis. There's an abandoned... First stop. Memphis abandoned skyscraper.
100 North Main.
Yeah, we get to Memphis in the middle of the night. Well, actually early morning, like 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. And we get on top of the tallest skyscraper in Memphis, which is abandoned.
430 feet tall.
5 in the morning.
5 in the morning,
All
yeah.
stairs.
And actually, before that happens, we're south of St. Louis on the interstate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
probably about 1:30 in the morning, and
Sleeping.
Big Pete's up there driving with Ethan over in the passenger
What
seat.
vehicle?
The Colin McLaren
Really
mobile.
want to set this?
Yeah,
And
First of all, how many miles did we put on?
3,300.
over the whole trip.
Yep.
3 oil changes during the trip.
0 oil.
Yeah,
changes. They
yeah.
probably won't get one for a few
No
months.
flat
but
tires.
No flat tires
no
this
car
time.
problems at all. Actually,
No.
The mobile did pretty
Because
good.
you had Pete with you.
Yep.
Pit crew Pete.
Yep.
Pit crew Pete, I like that one.
But anyway, so we're driving, and I thought Pete was going 70, and I'm sitting in the back seat, whatever. And sure enough, here comes
County.
Missouri State Trooper
Well,
coming.
Pete was the only one that was awake. Why don't you let Pete tell? Or Pete was the only one that was like noticing the cops come out of nowhere.
Well, okay, so come over this hill. He's sitting in the median, and just keep going, driving 70, and all of a sudden he pulls out, gets behind me in the left lane, and then he gets behind me and flips on the lights, and he says, "You went over the fog line," which I didn't, whatever. And he said, "I was going 75, couldn't catch you."
Which Peter was not because he told me
Your
when
car
the cop.
goes 75.
And I had the
we
cruise set the
reached
whole
some
time.
maximum
We were going pretty
speeds on
quick,
that
yeah.
trip.
Yeah. Pete did tell me before the cops pulled us over that we were only going 70. He's like, I'm only going 70. We're not going to get pulled over.
What was the speed limit?
70.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Pete, go ahead.
Well, and then, so he asked for license, registration.
The show me
and-
state.
Yeah.
Show me your ID.
And then he pulls me out of the car, talks to me for a while.
You guys wake up yet?
I was
Yeah.
awake the whole time. Yeah, Colin was kind of sleeping.
I was kind of like in and out, but before we got pulled over, I saw Pete was going 70 because when he came out, I'm like, I thought we were going 70.
Yeah.
Pete's out of the car.
Yep.
I'm out of the car talking to him, and he's asked me, got any drugs or anything in the car? And he said, "Who owns the car?" I said, "Colin, the one in the back seat." And he goes, "You mind if I search it?" I said, "I don't care." He said, "All right, let me go ask him." And so then we sit there for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Well,
He didn't even ask us.
He came up to the window and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And
We're
Peter was the one that told him we're going to.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, Peter told him that we were going to see some buddies. Which I don't know why Pete just didn't say
Yes,
we're
sir.
going down to go on a road trip.
Yeah.
Pete's like, we're going
I
down
was
to
waiting
see.
for you to
It's
say
what,
something.
buddy?
You didn't say
Yeah,
that.
no, they started asking us,
Yeah.
what are
There
they
you
going to
go.
college down there? What are their names? And we're all coming up with different answers and
Yeah,
stuff.
it
And they were
was
coming back like, wait a minute, he said you guys are doing this, and you guys are, well, I'm like, well,
Oh, geez.
yeah, it was a big mix up, and I don't know why we were trying to lie to them, because then the guy's like, well, you mind if we search the car and whatever? We're like, well, do whatever you want. There's nothing in here because there was nothing. So they go through everything. All the backpacks are pulling out the cameras. Oh, fancy photography equipment. What are you guys doing with that? We're taking pictures. Okay. And pulls out everything. Am I going to find any weed in here? No. Am I going to find anything in here? No, you're not going to find any weed. There's nothing in the car. You can They patted us down. You have anything on you? Any weed? Nothing. We have no weed, nothing in the vehicle. You can search it. And these guys were thinking 100% they're going to pin
What
us.
time of day was this?
This is the middle of the night.
1:30 a.m.
1:30 a.m. They see Minnesota
Oh, in the
license
morning.
plates. Yeah,
Yeah.
they see Minnesota license plates. They're going to pull you over no matter what you're doing because they
We
think
got pulled over in New Jersey on the last road trip
same
to
exact
New York.
thing because they thought we were hauling drugs. They think
For those gangs in the cities.
you're transporting drugs across the country. if you
30
have-
minutes later, he finally let us go. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, searched the whole car, pulled everything out, went through all the backpacks, all the bags, just asking us all these questions.
Just next time you say, I'm on a road trip.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then road trip for what? Why you need a road trip down here? You bringing drugs down here? No, we're not bringing drugs.
It's all about drugs.
Want to eat
these
some
days.
gator down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So after that whole ordeal in St. Louis, we kept driving and we get to Memphis. So
Did you see the Arc? I'm sorry. Did you see the Arc?
we saw the arch. Yeah. We've been to St. Louis for another road
We've
trip.
been
actually.
up the
Oh,
arch.
yeah,
and
because it goes.
Yeah, we've been up there. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, I was
really
there
cool.
once, yeah.
Yep. So we're in Memphis. We're on the abandoned skyscraper here, which is amazing. Tallest building in Memphis is abandoned. People don't know that.
Been on my list for about 3 years.
That-
Finally got it.
yeah.
Is that a
that-
casino back there?
No, that's
Everybody
Peter,
thinks
zoom in
it's
on
casino.
that
It's
with
the-
your finger. You can
it's
just use your finger.
It's the biggest Bass Pro Shop.
Biggest Bass Pro Shop in the country. It's in an not abandoned. It's in an old NBA stadium. The Memphis
cool.
Grizzlies played there for a while. So it has an
Look at
elevator.
that green lighting outside.
Yeah, it has an elevator in there. There's a hotel, bowling
It's
alley,
huge.
aquarium,
No kidding.
multiple restaurants. There's like a fishing pond. It's just unbelievable in there. So you can zoom back out,
Did you go
Pete.
there, Pete, and buy anything?
No, we
couldn't.
yeah, they
Because
didn't
we
open till
left
8.
Memphis at about
Oh.
6.
We were
Yeah.
talking about staying there. And
Yeah.
I wanted to.
We wanted to get to New Orleans.
We had a lot of
so you
stuff
can
to
kind of
do.
go through a
There's
couple
no-
more of these pictures,
Another
Pete.
6 hours to New Orleans.
If you just use the arrows, yeah. So I have more pictures of the skyscraper. There's the river right there. A couple bridges going over it. You can keep going, Pete, through it. So this building has a giant restaurant on top, and it had a motor, so it would turn.
Kind of like the Space Needle?
Yeah, very cool. So it's just a really unique building. You keep going, Pete. Try to get through some of these here. There's the cool bridge.
light up their
The
bridge.
river. Okay, so now we wanted to get to New Orleans as soon as possible because we just love New Orleans. We've been there one time last summer. Thought it was super cool. Wanted to spend as much time there as possible. And we wanted just to show Peter and go see things we never got to see. So the first thing we hit in New Orleans was it this place right here? This
Yeah.
hospital? Was it the hospital?
That was the first thing.
Yeah, we drove into New Orleans and we decided to go hit this hospital, which is abandoned from Hurricane Katrina. So you can go
Oh,
through.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
these
this
are
was
some
the
outside
first.
pictures here from it. And I guess I don't have very many
Oh,
inside
yeah.
pictures. So a lot of these buildings we're going to show you here that a lot of these are abandoned from Hurricane Katrina, which we're going to talk about too during this podcast.
That's what always gets me is abandoned and like how much money you can't rebuild it, but it wasted all the money.
It's
and
crazy,
what's
yeah.
left behind.
Yep.
and-
Here's a high-rise building in New Orleans that, when abandoned, you keep skipping through some cool graffiti pieces here
This was on top of it.
on top of the building.
Cool view of the skyline from
yeah.
way
yeah,
out.
look how far away it is.
New Orleans, just an amazing place. Looking down from that place,
Air quality's decent. You can see
Sandman
the
apartment buildings. Peter's favorite hotel. But that's graffiti right there that they did. Look how accurate on that wall. Like how all the angles and everything. It's just crazy. You can keep going, Pete. That's the
Ethan
backside.
and I just went and checked this
Yeah,
one out quick.
Peter wanted to sit in
pool.
the car.
No one jumped in it, did they?
No.
Meanwhile, it's like 100 degrees out.
Oh,
It
it's
is
so hot.
It's so humid there. It's unbelievable.
New Orleans is
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy humid. And we always thought that New Orleans is right on the ocean,
Yeah.
or not the ocean, the Gulf,
coast.
like right on the Gulf. But we didn't realize it was an hour and a half away, so we weren't really even that close. So it
The
was kinda
lake
funny.
is just so big
Is there
right
any
there.
gators in that pool?
I don't know. We
There
didn't want to
probably
find
was.
out. Here's the Federal Reserve Building in New Orleans, which is abandoned.
Another cool view
There's
of
the
the
vault. A lot of this stuff is stripped out, water damage. 80% of New Orleans was flooded after Hurricane Katrina for weeks. So There's an abandoned power plant. There's some stories from here.
This was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, so this is an abandoned power plant in New Orleans. I'm not sure if this went abandoned from Hurricane Katrina, but we can only probably guess.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, it seems
Still
like
have the lines up too.
everything's still attached here. The weirdest part about this place is way back in the day, or not way back in the day, I'd say like when we went to New Orleans even last year.
I was just going to ask you, it was a year before you were last there?
Yep.
About 15 months ago.
Yeah, and back in the day, like 2 or 3 years ago, they had this whole place censored up. Like you walk in there and there'd be a loud alarm that go off and you had to run. Like there's videos on YouTube, but the homeless people have came in here and taken over. Oh. Like there was homeless people,
like literally taken over.
Oh, they have tapped into the city's electrical and they're running it into there to power TVs, radios,
extension cords
running everywhere.
Yeah, that's
city's
wild.
water.
You could see an extension cord running right there, actually, at the bottom.
Right on the bottom.
That bottom thing, that's an extension cord. They had extension cords running everywhere, which they probably just got from construction
Pete, you
sites.
have to move with one finger after you zoom in.
So then keep skipping through here, Pete. It's just an amazing factory. The lighting, we could hear them in there. They clearly knew we were in there. They didn't care, as long as we didn't mess with any of their stuff. There's downtown from where we were, the river, and I have a video or a picture of just really cool here. The pictures and the lighting and everything. We went at sunset, light coming down through all this metal and everything.
Tons of metal.
Yeah, just amazing. And I have a picture of the shower they built.
Yeah, they tapped into the water.
They tapped into the water supply here.
Wow.
Yeah, they actually hooked up to the city's water and had a pump running into a shower.
There's another extension.
So did you get like a feel of like a
post-apocalyptic,
like steampunk type of vibe? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Doesn't it? Yeah. You can see another extension cord running right there all the way across this
different rooms everywhere.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And the
Yeah,
extension cords-
it's a massive place.
Yep. And
Right along the river, too.
Yep. So keep going here, Pete. The shower should be coming up here pretty quick. You just skip through these.
I'm glad. Yeah, like you said, it was hot in there.
Oh, gosh, it's
and
so
it
hot.
smells probably
Some
just
amazing artwork, too, in there.
Okay, so the shower's way down there, but there's a better picture of it, Pete. If you,
This is so blurry.
I don't know, they're loading. They're big pictures, so there's a lot of really cool artwork in there. Okay, here's the shower. So they have a pipe. That hose right there, that red one, is running down into the basement where they have a pump hooked up, and it's pumping the city's water into that. And then you can kind of see down there, Pete, if you zoom in on the wand. They have like one of those gardening wands.
Oh yeah.
And the water was running. Like you could see water spraying out. You could see water coming out of there. But it doesn't come out until you squeeze it. Oh yeah. And then they had a hose. You see, there's another
that
hose.
That wand was for that person. Then they had two more hoses going to other people.
Yep, the other hoses were running up into the factory for other showers that they had. Oh, wow. And we followed the hoses. They went up and wound up through the rafters and everything.
Crazy.
These guys are unbelievable. Like how they were doing this stuff. It blew us away. Yeah. This is called Exhibit B. These apartment buildings went abandoned during Hurricane Katrina. They never moved. No one ever moved back in, and they actually opened it up as an art exhibit. So they had all these artists come and do big artwork, and then they charged people to come in. And it eventually got vandalized, and people were dumping, so they had to close it down. But all the artwork is there. Multiple levels of artwork in this old apartment complex, and it's just
crazy.
There it is, Exhibit B. Just unbelievable. The artwork that they're doing in New Orleans. They're trying to revitalize it, but it's just a long process. I mean, we're talking, this happened in 2005. It's 2019, and they're still not back to where they were. There's still debris left from Hurricane Katrina. It's unbelievable. Okay, here we go. Downtown New Orleans. This is an abandoned skyscraper.
Third
tallest building in New Orleans. This is kind of a pain to get in. And
changes every time.
Changes every time we've gone. Here's an abandoned rooftop pool on it. You can keep going, Pete. Here's the view from up top. Wow. It's unbelievable, yeah.
Meanwhile, it's like 100 degrees.
Oh, tell them about the stairway. Tell them about the stairwell.
And how tall is it?
It's 530 feet tall.
All stairs.
47 flights of stairs and an all-concrete stairwell.
No airflow.
This one had more than Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis didn't have anything.
No.
We were, to say the least, drenched in sweat and all...
Yeah, I could barely see. My eyes were stinging of sweat.
2 bottles of water wasn't enough.
No. And then we got to the top, and we sat up there for a long time.
Probably 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
You just sit off the edge and look over the city, and you see these amazing views. And there's the Superdome, where all the people went during Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, yeah.
And they're right next to the Smoothie King Stadium. So, and then way there in the distance, Pete, you should try to zoom in on that. There's a oil refinery. That big orange thing is a giant orange fire shooting off the top of a smokestack. Nice. So we were kind of mesmerized by that too. I might have a better picture of it if you go through a couple of these. just really cool pictures of downtown, and New Orleans is amazing.
Do they have what was that one? Hospital or not hospital?
Charity?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
You can't see it in there.
No. So here's just more. I have a lot of pictures on here of downtown, different angles. Okay, hotel room, because everyone's all saying, "Oh, you guys probably stay in the crappiest hotel room." So I'm like taking a picture of it because it's actually a nice hotel.
Is that a K-pop band on the poster? What is
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So if you're listening at home, this is when you're definitely going to want to
This is one you're going to want to watch. Yeah, or we can describe it to you. We got two
you
beds.
want to see this. You want to.
We got two beds. Yeah. It's
Brand new shower.
What do you, Damon? What do you think though?
Yeah.
You're not.
Did the brothers sleep together? Did Pete have his own?
No.
Colin on an air mattress.
Colin brings the air mattress on every trip.
Yep. So we always get the separate beds and everything. But that's a pretty nice hotel for $30.
Yeah, $30.
Yeah, it's a cheap hotels. So here, okay, so another one of the best abandoned places in
That's only $10 a piece.
Yeah, it was cheap. In New Orleans is Six Flags, which is still abandoned from Hurricane Katrina. The giant theme park. You can kind of go through these, Pete, too. Everything's left here. All the rides, this is some post-apocalyptic stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about Scooby-Doo
This
before.
This is the top of the top for urban explorers. This is the holy grail.
Yeah, people from all over the country come to see this. People from all over the world come to see this because it's probably the best abandoned theme park. The bumper cars, just a lot of different angles I got here.
You should have went to the one that's open in St. Louis and next year. Oh,
yeah, I know. That looks crazy.
That looks like.
Or was it Atlanta where we saw?
That looks like an old wooden coaster.
It is. We climb it here coming up. Here's one of those rides. The car, like the scrambler or whatever.
Oh yeah, cool. Like
and then the roller coaster.
It's crazy. It's ready to go for another round.
Yeah.
They were thinking about reopening this park, but they couldn't because of the amount of damage to the electrical and just the structural damage from the wind and everything.
Take a lot to get it up to code.
Yep. But it's crazy everything left behind here.
Yeah, why don't they come level it?
Yeah, I mean, too expensive. Yeah, they don't have any money. Still trying to revive. Look at all the rides though. They're across the river. They're across the
alligators
pond.
in the ponds.
Alligators in the ponds. Yeah, they recreated the French Quarter here, the neighborhood actually. So they rebuilt a lot of the same buildings and stuff. Very cool. We will talk about that too.
Wild West kind of thing.
That's the French Quarter. Here's like the chair swing ride, Barb's ice cream shop.
That's crazy because everything is there. It just pretty much destroyed. But
yep. Here's so here's where we start climbing the roller coaster. That's like the top thing you got to do when you go there. You got to climb the roller coaster. So we this is like the look from the bottom. Here's the look from the top, looking down the one way.
It's just incredible up there. Being up there is awesome.
Yeah, you can see the whole park. All the different. I try to get as many angles as possible, just because when you're up there, you're like, because you're right off the highway. You got to be really quick. So you want to get as many. There's the highway, Peter. If you can zoom in right behind Colin. That's the main interstate,
Cars going by,
so everyone can see us up there, So you got to be quick about it, take a lot of pictures and everything. And there's been so many people that have come up here and do this. It's just a really cool. It's just amazing. Got to get the tattoo on there. So and then abandoned mansion too. We found this outside of Six Flags.
Yeah.
We think this was abandoned after Hurricane Katrina, but it never got finished. To the inside, Peter, go through some of the pictures. It never got finished.
The Gator
This was our Airbnb.
Yeah, you could see they never actually finished the house. A lot of the stuff is under construction. They never got a lot of the stuff in there. So maybe Hurricane Katrina came through.
It was just massive.
Yeah, huge house there was nests everywhere, like bees' nests or wasp nests. I don't know what they were.
It looks in good enough shape that they could.
You think they could keep working on it?
I don't know.
Look at the fountain and stuff. And it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, restart.
4-car garage.
Zoom in there, Pete, up there and behind him.
The movie The Money Pit.
Look at all those nests up there.
Those hornets.
Yeah.
One finger.
I'm using one.
We don't know what's going on here, the technology.
Yeah, no.
So before you go into any more pictures, Pete, we could take this moment here to jump into the Hurricane Katrina part of the podcast because what we're talking about all this stuff in New Orleans. The reason this is all here is because of Hurricane Katrina, which is
most of it.
A lot of it, yeah. Which is like the biggest Category 5 hurricane. That one and I think Michael that happened in 2017 are tied. I think I wrote that down on here. Yeah, or Harvey. Harvey, if you remember Hurricane Harvey in 2017, Hurricane Harvey and Michael are tied for the most expensive hurricanes, but the most loss of life from a natural disaster in the United States was from Hurricane Katrina. There were 1,836 people died from Hurricane Katrina and the flooding. And a lot of the flooding was caused by the levees. I don't know how much you guys know about this or how much you remember, Damon, when this happened in 2005. Were you in high school or when?
No, I was out of high school, freshly out of college a few years.
Really? Do you remember seeing any like news article or like headlines?
The ones that resonate the most are just like how dire it was afterwards, like after the storm hit, and how people were in need of help and they were like stranded, or the Superdome, right?
Yeah, everyone was in the
there.
Superdome.
And they were wondering about getting relief from the government and stuff, and if it was going fast enough and quick enough.
Yeah.
And, like what they could actually do to help these people, and what like these people would do to relocate if they couldn't rebuild.
Exactly, yeah.
So that was the big problem and the issues I remember.
There's some just crazy pictures and stuff on here, Pete. If you go back to the files, go back to the main folder.
I don't think the FEMA response was as quick, or wasn't.
There was a lot of controversy on. Can't you exit out of it or? Here, maybe right click down there on the bottom thing, Pete.
And you kind of have that the same day.
No, I'm like the thing, the icon that's highlighted down to the left, or Colin, show 'em.
It's kind of the same now when.
I'll give it here.
When these big hurricanes
there
come
you
through,
go.
and how much money you have to allocate, and how quick
Yeah.
you got to go save people, and who's getting what.
Yep, it is, and you got to figure out like, give me that thing quick here. Let me see it. Let me see it, Pete.
These photos remind me of too. I think we mentioned it once
Okay, there
before,
we go.
like
Katrina pics, yeah.
when Olympic stadiums come through and build like luge tunnels.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And I stand corrected. They kept that golf course open, and I think it was Argentina. It overgrew for a little bit, and then they cut it back down. And they
Which
still
one was
golf.
that? Were you talking about that?
The last Summer Games one where they had a golf course. They spent a lot of money on building a golf course.
Was it Rio that
for
they
golf.
had the summer games?
Was it Rio?
I thought it was Rio de Janeiro.
Rio must have been Rio.
In 2016, yeah.
Yeah, Rio then.
Yep.
And I thought they had let that golf course overgrow, and maybe they did for a little bit, but then they got it up and running, and they still golf there, which is cool.
Where's 2020 at again? I
I
can't
don't know.
remember.
Do you know?
We just talked about this too.
Yeah, most of the venues they build, they'll go
Yeah.
abandoned.
Because we were in Atlanta part of the trip, and we were in Olympic Park because they have the whole memorial thing there.
And
everything.
they just tore down like a huge tennis stadium that they built for
It's
the.
bonkers. It's like
Yeah, they spend.
you see the Coliseums like from
Yeah.
Roman
Right.
Greek time, and if you think
Even when were
like,
the
people
games
come
in
by
Atlanta?
and-
94 or something?
96, yeah, they're in 96. And they tore a lot of the stadiums down. They build these high rises, they build these apartment buildings, hotels everywhere, and then they tear a lot of it down because they don't have a need for it. So
Tokyo 2020.
Tokyo, and then Los Angeles is coming up after that here. 2024, I'm pretty sure. Or was it 2028?
Yeah, 2028, I think.
Yeah, I think.
2024 is Paris.
And then 2028 should be LA.
2022 is winter Beijing.
Yep. Does it say 2028 on there at all? It should be LA.
Yeah. 2028 is LA.
Yep. So back in the United States for the first
It
time.
takes 6 years to build everything.
Yeah.
Well, it did in Atlanta.
In
didn't it?
Atlanta, it took 6 years to build everything.
Which
'cause
is crazy.
They bid on these games way ahead of time. You know, they already have it planned out for years ahead,
Yeah.
so they can start
Well, then I
building.
got to a point where it was, I don't know what it still is, but it's almost tough to give them out because like it costs so much money, and everyone's trying to outdo that main show too.
Yep.
And It's bonkers
It's
how much.
it's unbelievable.
Where
So
they should give this money to these places where people are showering with hoses.
exactly.
Well, I mean, I guess I
Yeah.
shouldn't say not all of it, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I think those people, they want to do that. Like they
Still
want to
gotta
live
have
on
the
off the
Olympics.
grid. They want to live in like this abandoned place. They just want to.
Those homeless people that are living in that power plant are extremely smart, though,
Yeah.
if you think about all
very
the stuff they're
tapping
doing.
into the electric, tapping
well,
the
like,
water.
Like, I mean, survival.
Yeah,
They have
that's
more
what it
survival
is,
skills
yeah.
than anyone, like
Yeah.
most people you run into.
Here it is right here. The deadliest hurricane since 1928, Okeechobee Hurricane. In 1928, I have no idea.
Okie from Muskogee.
Okeechobee. I don't know where Okeechobee is. $125 billion worth of damage
Wow.
from Hurricane Katrina. We'll look at pictures here. What do you think caused most of the damage in Hurricane Katrina when you think about it? When you think like
The wind and the water.
it was actually the levees failing.
Really?
Yep. It was.
Like
It could have
flooding?
been prevented. Hurricane Katrina, a lot of the damage could have been prevented, and a lot of the death could have been prevented, but the levees all failed.
Yeah, I remember that they were
50 plus levees
were
failed.
kind of older, I think, and obviously not high enough, and
Yep.
they failed.
Well, Pete, go out of this quick. Out of
In a
out of
roundabout
these
way, it
pictures.
was because of the water and the wind, because
Yep.
that's what forces this stuff.
Yep,
down.
but the levees actually were outdated. Like
Yeah,
they needed to be
just fixed
updated.
it.
And I have a picture here to show people. A lot of people don't realize. Go back to files, that New Orleans is below sea level.
Oh yeah.
So I have
That's
a picture.
why all the cemeteries, all the graves, like people are buried above ground.
This is what, if you look at that from region A to B off the Lake Pontchartrain, you can see that all of New Orleans is underneath water.
Yeah.
Like those levees there are literally keeping the water out. So they fail. They let all the water into.
New Orleans has a great culture. You talked about. I mean, it's great culture.
Oh, yeah.
Great people.
Yep.
Jazz. Music.
It's
even
amazing.
country. And
It's amazing.
Food and
Yep.
that. And then you rebuild so you have it there. But also, I'm sure a lot of people see it's underwater. It's underwater. This could happen. It almost happened a couple months ago, but it kind of took a turn.
Yep. And they need to check on this stuff more, and they need to make sure that something like this will never happen again. I mean, look how low Wainwright Drive and LC Simon are. Look how low they are. Is that -10? Are those feet or what? Is that -10 feet below sea level? Yeah, elevation in feet. They're -10 feet below sea level.
Yeah. See, I suppose if you're raised there, you don't really take that into consideration, but. Like that's why I like living in the Midwest. Like we have tornadoes and stuff, but I'm above a floodplain for the most part.
Yeah,
like,
hey, not really.
Who knows now? Yeah, who knows anymore?
Not anymore. Yeah.
But like you have all these places, you have land, you can build that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't build in New Orleans because exactly what I just said, the culture and everything.
Yep.
It makes it tough to put money in and rebuild because when's it going to happen again? Just like on a smaller scale, like Island Park. Like it's great to experience a game down there.
Yep.
But how often you dump money and keep putting stuff in there? Now I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, and here the thing is when they rebuild,
I'd love the culture, but I'd probably move a little bit out of town.
Yeah, exactly. When they rebuild, they have to rebuild with hurricane-proof everything, hurricane-proof windows, hurricane-proof. Yeah. It just you got to plan that out.
But I sit here and say that, but some people don't have the resources to move. I mean, they're there.
They don't. Well, and we'll talk about how many people were displaced here. We're gonna go through pictures here. So again, if you're listening, this is important because we're gonna be going through these. I'll talk about them too. These guys are on the interstate here. They stole a mail truck to escape from the flooding, and they got stopped by the Texas game wardens, the sheriffs, whatever, too. And they apparently were let go. They didn't get arrested, but they couldn't drive the mail truck anymore.
Oh, yeah. Federal offense if it had mail on it.
Yeah, here is a van wrapped around a tree from the winds, like blowing that into a tree. Just unbelievable. Here's a guy surrounded by water on top of a van, just how high the water was.
That was the Scooby-Doo van. I'm not want to make light of it, but seriously.
It looked like it, yeah. People stranded. And I'm going to warn you right now, we're going to look at some pictures on here that are depressing and they're very graphic. So just to warn you, dead bodies in the water, a lot of that kind of stuff. There was tons of people. Here's a group of people on a roof. Help. They spray painted. The water is rising. So many people decided not to evacuate New Orleans.
A house on a truck?
House on top of a truck.
Yeah.
Here's a guy getting water and running away. Some of these pictures won Pulitzer Prizes for just how amazing they were. For the photographers capturing these pictures. It's just unbelievable here. This is not the bridge we drove over, by the way, guys, into New Orleans. This is a different one. I think it was in Mississippi or something. Because people don't realize that the hurricane didn't just affect New Orleans. It affected all the southern states. New Orleans was the most heavily affected, but it affected Louisiana, affected Alabama, affected all these states down there. People don't realize that, but that's not the bridge we drove over. The Confederate flag landed in Robert E. Lee's hands, it looks like.
Here's these pictures you found online.
Yeah, these are very, these are like the most well-known
pictures. That one
pictures.
really looks close to the Bahamas ones that we saw with those like trailers.
Yeah, look at these. Are those trailers or shipping crates?
Shipping crates.
Are they shipping crates? Yeah.
Or like
Yeah, and they're lined up in this neighborhood here. McDonald's completely blown out.
Fairmont?
Fairmont.
It looks like.
Look at this. A casket landed on the highway, just sitting there, and who knows if there's a body in there or not. You never know. Dog on top of a house.
Yeah.
Here's a before and after picture with how much water there is. Like I said, 80% of New Orleans. Well, freeze on this picture. 80% of New Orleans was underwater.
This is a Superdome.
Superdome. And I love this picture with the helicopter flying up it and all the people because everyone relocated to the Superdome.
It got nasty in there.
Yeah. The stink and how many days people were stranded. There's a lot of pictures in here
assaults.
of that. Yep. Here's an aerial picture of Hurricane Katrina right before hitting New Orleans. There's the eye of the storm right there. They took this. It's called the Hurricane Chaser. National Weather Service or
like
the hurricane.
Dorothy from
Twister. So here's the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown New Orleans. This is the most damaged hotel in downtown. I wrote down in here. Hotel beds flew out the windows. All the windows on the north side blown out, which exposed all the insulation, which was blown all over the city.
That is crazy.
Extremely dangerous. A lot of these pictures.
Here's Bourbon. How long it took to clean all this stuff.
Here's Bourbon Street, boys. Very different than what we saw when we were there. Just stuff everywhere.
You
And
should
then-
go down there for Fat Tuesday or something. Mardi Gras.
yeah. Here's another picture. You can just see how much is underwater. And a lot of these are from other cities besides New Orleans. Look at all the water.
Devastation. Like,
It just-
imagine having a home in the river
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh, it blows me away. Here's outside the Superdome. Look how deep that water is, up to their waist, and I'm sure it was even higher at one point.
That is insane.
Pictures. We walked right down that street when we were on our way to Bourbon Street. We walked right there, and to see how much water's here, and then to look at it nowadays,
Yeah.
you could still tell there was damage there, but they've really done a good job repairing a lot of like the main downtown areas. It's unbelievable. The most popular picture taken after New Orleans or after Hurricane Katrina. This picture was featured on Time Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Ton of stuff.
That's a dope picture.
Yeah, the guys rowing with boards down the flooded interstate. George Bush flying over. This is crazy. These are all the prisoners taken out of the prison and put in the middle of the highway, and you can see the guys are all right there. Think how easy it would have been to get away here during Hurricane Katrina. People walking down the flooded interstate highways. It's just people stranded on rooftops here. There's outside the Superdome. Unbelievable
Still
looking
looks
at it.
like the streets. No,
Yeah, the streets are pretty bad. They've
A lot of trash still.
George Bush sitting with a resident inside the Superdome.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. They've done a crazy job revitalizing all this stuff. All the people in there.
That's bonkers.
Look at all the people in there.
That's bonkers.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton. Okay.
Is that Walmart?
Yeah, after 9/11 was done hitting, the looting started, the crime started, the burglary, there's talks of all kinds of stuff going on, rape, murder, just because the police and everyone had dispersed, so it was like it was a city without laws. So everyone was going into Walmart and all these stores, stealing stuff. They needed food, they needed supplies, so they were looting all the stores.
It shows you how important it is to have a police force because if people have free reign,
Yep.
they some not everyone obviously.
Hey, look at that.
Resort to that.
Yep. The roof, the entire waterproof membrane on top of the Superdome there's the tower
our
we were
boy.
on. Yep, there's the tower we were on.
Really?
Yep,
Jeez, she
right
looks
there.
a little slanted.
It does. You could zoom in on the Superdome. The entire waterproof membrane was ripped off, so water was leaking into the Superdome, which is just crazy to look at. Can you see Charity Hospital on there, Pete? If you zoom in downtown, can you see the giant Charity Hospital?
Right there.
Where is it? Oh, yeah. Yep, there it is. Charity Hospital, still abandoned to this day. Giant
Did
abandoned
they rebuild
hospital.
a hospital somewhere else then? Did
I don't
they-
know.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
to have,
They
right?
did, yeah. That was the main
so-
hospital that everyone went to for
It's
Hurricane
still
Katrina.
abandoned.
Out of the
Still
floodplain.
abandoned. There was Colin, talk about the bodies that were
Yeah,
floating.
their explorers went in there after Hurricane Katrina, and there was still bodies floating around in the basement.
Really?
From the morgue.
This
Yeah.
thing takes up like
Oh.
3
And
blocks.
the doctors told the nurses or whatever to stack the bodies up in the stairwells.
Wow.
Yeah, just to get them out of the water floating. Yeah. And when I was talking about the water, 700 bodies recovered in New Orleans by October 23rd of 2005. Survivors reported seeing dead bodies lying in city streets and floating in still flooded sections. The advanced state of decomposition of many corpses, some of which were left in the sun and water for days, hindered efforts by coroners to identify many of the dead. They couldn't identify people because they were literally baked in the sun and sitting in water for that long. Just unbelievable. I mean, if just looking at these pictures, you cannot comprehend. This is that main bridge that goes over to Slidell. That's across Lake Pontchartrain, which is where we drove. It's the 24-mile bridge, longest bridge in the United States. Just crazy.
What a
Dead body in the water, another body.
Holy
Graphic,
smokes.
yeah. House is on fire.
Right.
They're dumping water
People
from
got
a
electrocuted walking through the
helicopter.
water.
Here's just more flooding. The Palace Casino tipped over sideways. People, look at all the oil. I have a stat. 7 million gallons of oil leaked into the waters of New Orleans because all these oil refineries that blew up and exploded and just left oil everywhere. Just unbelievable pictures. More bodies sitting in the
That's
streets.
horrible.
Yeah, were most of these in like Time Magazine, or a lot of them in Time Magazine?
Yeah, a lot of these
or, like,
were in big magazines. There's in look at that one.
Water tower came.
Yeah,
straight
water
down.
tower fell down. Look at this. Don't try. I am sleeping inside with a big dog, an ugly woman, 2 shotguns, and a claw hammer.
If that ain't down south, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Still here. Woman left Friday cooking a pot of dog gumbo.
Oh,
Look at that. Some stuff left. What does that other one say? No, what it means to miss New Orleans. Y'all come back for Carnival. I have my parade spot. Come back. I can't read that. Zulu, Bakuth, I don't even know. I can't read some of the stuff.
A parade? No way, a parade.
There's parades going on all the time.
There is always.
Yeah, when we were there was a parade
no
going
parking
on.
on the street.
No. Keep going through the... Is that all of them?
That's it.
Was it really? Yeah. Wow, it felt like going
Those
through...
were incredible, though. Like, insane.
Yeah, a little different, like from your road trip pictures to.
I guess I haven't
Katrina
really looked that
pictures.
closely at Katrina pictures.
A lot of people don't know, like, a lot of the stats and a lot of the pictures and a lot of the damage that was caused by this stuff.
Damon, and the sign at Six Flags still says closed for storm.
Really?
Yeah,
It still
says
it.
that when you drive by it. I'll read a couple more facts about Hurricane Katrina. Like I said, 80% of the city was flooded. Peak intensity in Gulf of Mexico was on August 28th of 2005. Was the costliest natural disaster in U.S. history, tied with Harvey. Even in 2010, debris remains in some coastal cities from Hurricane Katrina. Lake Pontchartrain flooded because of up to 15 inches of rainfall. I talked about the Hyatt Hotel being the worst damaged hotel. 1.3 million acres of forest was destroyed. Katrina displaced 1 million people. Largest diaspora, I think that's how you say it, diaspora? I think it's talking about displacing people in history of USA. Houston added 35,000 residents.
That's what I was just going to ask. This is interesting.
Yeah, Mobile
where
added
some people went.
Mobile added 24,000 people. Baton Rouge added 15,000 people. Even Chicago added 6,000 people all the way up here.
Well, that's only adding up to like a tenth of.
These are just some. I didn't go list all of them.
10%,
Yeah. By January of 2006, about 200,000 people were living back in New Orleans. Half of the pre-storm population. Half of the pre-storm.
Half of them came
Yeah,
back.
half of them came back.
Those are the proud ones that like,
Yeah, I mean, they just took forever to
family or
rebuild.
not the
It's a cool
resources
city.
to do.
I love.
It's amazing, yeah.
it's
7 million,
wild
like
down
I said,
there.
7 million gallons of oil leaked. Floodwaters were pumped into Lake Pontchartrain, 43 days to complete, to pump all the water off the streets of New Orleans back into the lake. And the lake, or the flooded water, contained bacteria, oil, it said pesticides. It listed all these different things,
Yeah.
bacterias and feces and just...
Well, that's like when people get sandbags.
How do they clean all that?
They can't. They just had to pump back into the lake and wait over time for it to naturally clean itself.
People like sandbag and they're like, oh, then we're gonna use the sandbags to make a sandbox. I'm like, that's not a good idea because
No.
that stuff soaks into the sand.
Exactly, yeah. Shortly after it moved away on August 30th, looting, burglary, and crime started. So that's what I have written down for.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate, and a lot of arrests were made, and it's hard to talk about something like crazy like that because it's such a huge event in American history. Like
Yeah.
people
It's good to
don't-
be aware of it though. So like
It
you
is.
can, I don't know if appreciate's the right word, but like when you go on these trips and you see this stuff, like you see it.
There's some mad history behind
Yeah, and
some
it's
of
not.
this
It's
stuff.
just not going. Oh, cool. Like there's that, but then to go back and like look why it's that way, and like, you know, if there's anything that can be done, or like,
or to prevent it in the future, because they learned from the levees that they need to do more inspections and they need to look more into things so that
or how you can help if when it happens.
exactly. And it makes me, it makes it hard to believe that people want to live in New Orleans knowing that kind of damage, that horrific, horrifying, just
That's what I
hurricane.
mean, like the pride and the culture.
Yeah. I mean, but nothing.
Resources to do
Nothing
so.
that big has happened since in New Orleans. I mean, Hurricane Harvey hit, and it caused a lot of damage. But I think that was more East Coast, like New Jersey. I think was where that. I'm not sure if I remember. I think
We
that
have
was-
Florida just hanging out on a strip. You know.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
Get
It's
crossed
a-
over.
you know,
Any of those islands you live on.
They build
Right.
they build houses down there. You got to have like triple pane, hurricane proof glass. All the houses have to be made out of
Gulf
concrete.
of Mexico,
like,
Texas.
yeah, you got to build differently down there than if you were to build
Oh,
in
yeah.
California or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just-
or
it's-
earthquakes.
Earthquake
Yeah.
in California, yeah, you got to come up to Minnesota. We don't have any crazy.
You got to have a basement.
we got
a storm
blizzards,
shelter.
yeah. We got blizzards around here.
Tornadoes.
Um,
Windstorms.
We could go through more of these pictures though. We then moved on after New Orleans to Birmingham.
Oh,
Meridian.
there's more road trip.
More road trip.
Oh,
Meridian.
we're just getting started.
There we go.
Meridian, yeah. This is Meridian. The abandoned. What's the name of this place again?
Royal Land.
Royal Land,
Really?
abandoned amusement park, closed in the
Called Royal
70s.
Land?
Closed in the 70s,
This could
yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
Well, there was nothing left, so it was just woods. The sign's cool though, isn't it? You see the old sign
No.
there? That's a
Oh,
sign.
that's it.
Yeah, it's a castle in the woods. It's all grown over, but it's been abandoned since the 70s, so nothing's really there.
There's old grandstand.
This is
That-
from the
that's some shows
fairgrounds,
there.
the state
Yeah.
fairgrounds.
State Fairgrounds, Alabama.
Yeah, in Meridian. So, well, is this Mississippi or?
Mississippi,
I think it
yeah.
was Mississippi.
We
Meridian.
stopped.
Maybe it was Alabama.
I gotta look.
Alabama.
I don't remember either. Here's an abandoned mall we hit in Meridian. Was that Meridian too?
Yeah,
or was it a different town? Was this Meridian? Yeah, abandoned mall here. This has been abandoned for a long time.
Oh, stuffed animal.
Yeah, just a lot of creepy old food court, like weird.
Hey,
Gumball
Meridian is in Mississippi.
Okay, Meridian, Mississippi. Okay, we were saying Alabama.
Oh, it's close.
Those old mall furniture, old restaurant, just really creepy place. Skip ahead here through the mall, Pete. Let's get to the next location. The movie theater was all grown over and everything. Just you could tell this stuff's been here for a long time. This is in Birmingham, abandoned hospital, giant abandoned hospital, biggest abandoned hospital we've ever been to. And there was not looters.
Blocks long.
There was what do you call them in there?
Scrappers.
Scrappers. They had like
yeah.
angle grinders, and they had their
Yeah.
truck.
In there when you were there?
Big
Yeah.
steel
Yeah.
grinders.
They had their truck in there, parked down in there. They were literally right down there. And we were sneaking all over the hospital, and we were in this hallway, and the guy was right walking by us with his flashlight and everything. And
Cutting down the stairway.
Cutting down the stairway, the pipes and
Ethan,
everything.
you got those pictures on here?
Of the guy? No, they're videos. I don't have the videos on here. The guys are working right down there in that auditorium area. We were
had
in
the
that
video,
room.
that
we
would've
were
been
in that.
sweet,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're in that room right there, and the guy was
know.
right in the hallway.
It was bad.
But we ended up coming
What's
out
that
of
thing?
I don't know what that is.
They put
Core.
bodies in there, scanned them up.
Oh, it's a CT scan?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
I don't know what
something
it
like
is.
that.
Oh, you're in the hospital there.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
So we come out of this hospital, and there's a cop parked up down the street.
oh,
So
because you're not supposed to be in there?
no,
abandoned.
So
It's all trespassing.
we were actually up. Yeah, there's a homeless person's bedroom.
Is that Pete's water?
I don't know what that was. We were up by that star, and there was actually a cop that had drove by in the alleyway. I think I have a picture of where the cop was actually. When we go over there, keep it right there. Okay, zoom down there to the left in that little driveway area. Maybe you got to use the mouse to right there. You see by the road right there, Damon. You see that little garage kind of right off the street.
yeah.
He was right there. He's like, I don't know if he saw us or not. Right there.
He's
And
kind of just chilling for a little bit.
so we're like, oh, so those guys aren't scrappers. They have permission to be here.
Oh.
Because, he would have definitely heard them. You could hear the grinding from
Yeah.
a block away. So we leave the hospital, and the cop is like on the loudspeaker, come over here. Like, he come over here.
Well,
So-
we come around the
walking
corner,
away.
and he's right there.
yeah, so then we go talk to him. He's like, what do you got? Or he's like, you guys weren't in there, were you? And I was going to tell him the truth, but the way he framed the question made it sound like if we would have talked to him, like he would have given us a ticket. So I'm like, no. He's like, oh, okay, well, as long as you're not in there, we don't have an issue. And then I just asked him when it went abandoned, and then he let us go. So, you got to kind of judge a situation, whatever, by it. But those guys, we thought they were scrappers, but they had permission to be in there because they were grinding and being loud. This place has got a story. Colin? Memorial
Old
mound.
abandoned funeral home outside in Alabama. And
Underground.
So this
funeral.
is out of Meridia? Or this is-
No,
this
is
is
in
by
Birmingham.
Birmingham. And back in about 2015, I think it was, some other urban explorers were there checking it out. It was abandoned at that time too. And they're checking it out, looking in the coffins and all that. And they found 7 dead bodies, 6 adults, 1 baby.
And you're not going to believe this. Pete, go to the pictures. Keep going. Go to the one I took up above.
Ethan thinks, I don't know.
I guarantee. Go.
Yeah, just
up,
a bunch of coffins in there.
Up. That one. Count those coffins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's no baby coffin. That's where they found the 6 dead bodies.
That's what Ethan thinks.
I thought you were going to show
don't
me
know.
like a picture that Adrian was going to have to look at. Like
No
like
paranormal
dust
stuff.
or something.
There was a lot of weird orbs in there.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's just coffins in there because.
Oh,
like,
it's
those
crazy.
are
They're
spendy.
Yeah, they
Like,
are.
and,
Yeah,
like-
if they found dead bodies, then I'm sure no one wants them
Yeah.
anymore. I mean, that's my conspiracy theory about that. That is where the
Theory.
dead bodies were.
creepy place. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
who-
creepy if someone who
Who
you just-
leaves dead bodies behind?
Well, and who goes and I mean, you guys were there, but like, did you have to open those?
No,
Like,
they
who
were all
goes
they're
and-
all open.
Who goes and says, "Oh, a coffin, I'm going to open it up"? And
No,
like,
they were all.
Oh, we
open.
would have opened them if they
Yeah,
were
but I mean,
closed.
I mean, if you're in an abandoned funeral home and
Yeah,
you
no.
there's
But this was a funeral home. They didn't, they don't have a burial place for them. They keep them there.
yeah.
Flash
You got
forward.
that sheet where they got storage up top or whatever.
Oh, I don't have it with me, but
Oh.
they had there was a sheet that talked about how they don't bury bodies at this funeral home. They store you in this like what do you call it? Underground. That like go back,
Oh, yeah.
go back.
Catacomb.
That's where they keep your body in those
Like a
racks. They line you
catacomb.
up, and that's where your body is forever. And then
Like
when
Game
they
of Thrones. In
Well,
the,
yeah. I've never seen it before, but you keep bringing it up when they is this? What do they do? They
have a cave where they bury all their family members.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When they run out of
when
they run out of room here, they just add on. They add another underground area where they put more coffins.
Yeah, how many acres did they say? 12 or something?
16 acres worth of these bunkers. Your body is never buried. It's always stored so someone could get access to it if they need it.
Oh.
I don't know why. Yeah, that's
what
I'm saying. In coffins. Yeah.
Then we went to this abandoned jail, which was all right.
Yeah, you can skip through that. Just
No, I will endorse going to like abandoned jails that are like for tourist attractions because that was one of the coolest ones in Montana.
Really?
Deer Lodge. Oh yeah, it was super sweet.
You see any paranormal?
Didn't I tell you that story one time?
Maybe you did talk about that.
When I was walking by it, I don't know if I told it on air though.
I think you did with Adrian maybe.
I don't know because I said I was going to tell me. But when I was walking by outside, it was super hot out, like when you guys were.
Oh, and you got the chills.
And I got the chills, and I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah,
and
you did say that,
go back in, and I was in the hotel room and like looking stuff up, like researching it, and then sure enough, once in a while they do like ghost tours there and stuff. But not only that, the one that got me more was where I got the chills where the gallows used to be out in the yard.
Really?
That's wild.
Yeah, and there was nothing around me that should have like shot me with cold air.
That's crazy.
But no, the prison was super cool. And then you read like the stories of the people that were in there and everything, and they had it's cool.
This is a cool place. This was somewhere in Alabama, big abandoned mansion.
This was in
Birmingham. This is abandoned mansion. Go through these, Pete. They have a pool in their living room.
Dang.
Here's their main living room. You just have a pool. I guess you're rich.
No, that's stonework.
Just have a pool. They have a waterfall. It's a water.
Yeah, stained glass on the top.
Someone's got to come in.
Yeah.
Like reuse that.
Yeah. Look at that. They have a diving board. That's a waterfall.
That's
There's
like
a hot
70s
tub.
grotto style.
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Oh, the house is 70s. Look at this clown room.
Super weird.
Hold on now. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in an abandoned house, or any house in general. That hole right there
Just drops straight down
into a cage on their main level that I think that a tiger in it.
Sure.
I don't know. Pete doesn't think they did.
I don't know.
I
don't think it was that big.
Is that green carpet?
Green carpet.
Tiger.
70s.
Tiger
70s. Look at that. The whole house is themed after.
It's weird.
I'm gonna say it was a white Bengal tiger too.
Bathtub. White Bengal tiger. Yeah. Bathtub is in the floor.
Yeah.
How much
70s?
70s?
Jets. That's
How 70s can you get here?
Jets.
Look at that. The whole house
Super weird.
Screams 70s.
A little oriental tree bonsai action.
Yep. And then here's their kitchen. Okay, the cage is coming up. They have a pool table in the basement.
Yeah, you have a picture of the cage?
I do have a picture. Yep. Okay, right there. In their basement, and you can see the hole in their ceiling.
Some type of exotic animal.
Yeah, and I have a picture of the cage better, I think. Here's the one of their. Okay, there's the cage. Maybe you can zoom in there.
It's a decent sized cage.
Is that bedding?
Yeah. I don't know what kind of animal. Damon, you know about animals. I don't know. What kind of animal do you think for that?
By looking at the house, a white Bengal tiger.
You think? I mean, if you're okay,
that's pretty specific.
If you're rich enough to have a hot tub and a pool in your living room with a giant waterfall, you can probably afford a tiger.
Right, and if you have green carpeted grass,
yeah,
and then like oriental, for sure tiger.
I think tiger.
Probably some monkey cages upstairs too somewhere.
I don't know.
Where did they go up there?
And they had like panels on the ceiling that look like clouds and stuff.
And you have nice lighting so you can see outside the wood area, so you think you're like in the jungle.
It was wild. Craziest abandoned mansion.
That is totally like a
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and it was all just open up.
What's on the stained glass? Like a moose?
I think it's an elephant.
Oh, it's safari.
Yeah, safari theme.
Oh, there's a tiger in the stained glass?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think there was a tiger in there, Damon.
Yeah, I think you're right. And there's monkeys too.
We got to do research on this house, see if we can find anything about it. Just amazing location. And there's their kitchen if you zoom in, Pete, right there. Right there, there's their kitchen.
And there's Pete.
There's Pete,
There's
yeah.
me, yeah.
There's
How'd
Pete.
you know?
Just wild.
Yeah. And let's skip ahead here, Pete, to the theme park so we can kind of wrap this up here.
Sure.
Just some stuff from Atlanta. Saw some really cool
rooftops,
stuff.
Another
Is that your hotel room?
Yeah,
This
another
was-
hotel
yeah.
room. That's probably the nicest hotel room
Yeah.
we stayed in on the trip.
Oh, that was the worst one. Well, messiest. Not messiest, but worst disaster one to get into.
Oh gosh, because we booked a hotel room and we get to the hotel at
And
like
they
12:30 and they overbooked, so we didn't have a
That's what
hotel.
They do,
And it was a horrible neighborhood. Like we're lucky we got that place. So this is the pool. Skip ahead to the amusement
Just
park.
an abandoned juvenile detention center there with a pool. Who knows why there's a pool in the...
Yeah. There's a giant abandoned college in Atlanta. Here's the gym, home of the misdemeanors.
I saw
Someone
that.
spray painted that.
That's good.
There's just...
Was
whoa.
it 8-foot rims?
Oh, Colin dunking on us. Here's the football stadium. You know the movie We Are Marshall?
Yeah.
They filmed that right there. That's the football
Really?
stadium. Yep. Back before it went abandoned. Yeah. There's the skyline
Cool
of Atlanta.
view of the
It's
skyline. though.
nice. That still looks decent.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of graffiti,
like
but
you could-
yeah, you could open it back up
Like
probably.
Field of Dreams.
Really,
Field of
really
Dreams.
dope
Yeah, Field of
stadium.
Dreams. And then skip through here, Pete, to the theme park, and then we got the story for the final story of the night. Our legs are still destroyed from it. Damon, we told you we'd tell you.
Yeah.
So the final stop on the trip, Colin was so insistent that we stop at the amusement park in North
3
Carolina.
hours northeast of North Carolina.
3 hours northeast of North Carolina.
No,
Of Atlanta.
no. 3 hours northeast of Atlanta,
In
not
North
of
Carolina.
North Carolina.
Okay, of Atlanta. Is this amusement park? You can just stop here, Pete, for a second.
Okay, it's an old ghost town theme amusement park in the mountains.
Of North Carolina.
There's a road, but there's a caretaker that lives right there, and there's a sensor by
It's
the
just
gate.
like that Scooby-Doo episode I was talking. Okay. Keep going.
So the best way to get to it, which is a horrible way, is to climb the old chairlift mountain.
'Cause
Like the chairlift goes
It was
up.
one of those places back in the day. You park your car in the bottom. You take like a gondola up to
yeah.
the top of the mountain. The theme park is
Yeah.
on the top of the mountain.
Oh.
Obviously,
So-
there's no sky. There's no more
La-di-da.
chairlift or gondola. So you have to literally hike up a mountain. And Colin's like, "Yeah, 10 minutes will be up there."
No, I was
10 minutes.
I was joking. It was a joke.
Did he not
And-
say 10 minutes?
This was before we seen it. Hopefully, 10
and
minutes
also,
we'll get up there.
Also was a joke.
Because we were trying to
But-
get up there right at
catch sunset.
I honestly didn't think it was that steep. Like until I saw it, like I did not think.
When we pulled up to
Yeah.
the parking lot, we were about
I
to
was
shoot
like,
ourselves.
no
The,
way.
the gondola thing didn't like throw you off. Like,
My jaw dropped on how steep this mountain.
It took us
actually
an
was.
hour and a half to get to the top.
That it didn't help because a cop pulled up.
We got into it 5 minutes. Well, I'd say we walked up the trail, past the parking lot, up the hill, and a car pulled in, stopped, watched us. We all hid. 10 minutes later, the car comes back with a cop. And so now we have a sheriff down there, and we have the cop in the car.
And we're
And
over
these,
halfway
and
up
these
the-
guys think that there's gonna be cops at the top waiting for us.
No, because the cop left. So we were figuring that the cop just
So
drove
then
up the
there's a
mountain and
big
was waiting
argument.
for
Let's
us.
just turn around, but we're already destroyed. I'm like, we drove 3 hours.
well,
up
they
the
were
mountains for nothing.
concerned for your safety. They're like, who are these wacko kids who have shorts on? Who are going to go through a bunch of
Thorns.
Oh, horrible.
Here's what I think. After they saw us going up, they're like, if these guys want to go do it, have fun. They're going to have a hell of a time getting up there. And we did. Our legs are still... my leg right now, and everyone's legs here.
And we missed the sunset.
Yeah, I've been
And
talking
you-
to mine.
Did you run into like poison oak or anything?
Poison
Or, like,
oak, poison
ivy?
everything.
Yeah,
all
it's
the
horrible.
thorns.
Meanwhile, it's dark on the way down.
Oh, my...
And
Dude.
dude's starting to set. And everything's just slippery and...
Everybody's
Slipping,
slipping.
falling, thorns going in every arm, every leg.
Oh, man.
Pitch
You
dark.
fall down.
Pitch dark.
Oh, yeah.
My legs are still itchy, and they hurt like crazy.
So
It's
on Yelp, did you give it a 1 star?
just- yeah. So and then we get to the top, and the sun's down, and it's hard to get good pictures up there. Everything's just super grainy, and I got a couple decent pictures, but there's a giant roller coaster overlooking the mountains, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Was it worth hiking up a mountain and getting cut up and driving 3 hours? I'd probably say
Well,
no.
here's where I go on record at the very end of the show and say like, be safe for everyone. Or you guys too.
Yeah,
and,
yep.
and I don't condone trespassing. I'm here looking
No,
at pictures.
Yeah.
You know, like-
Yeah. No, we don't condone trespassing.
But the
either.
excitement is that why that's what we talked about earlier. That's
Yeah,
like
it's the
exciting,
excitement,
the
yeah.
exploring,
And
the
Colin-
history of looking back at these things and
Yep.
like learning about them and like being able to show people the pictures and
Oh yeah, it's fun
teach
talking
them
about
about
it.
history and stuff.
So here's a
Yeah,
picture
that's
Colin
what we're
took.
dealing with Damon.
So-
pretty wild.
Pretty cool
It
up
was
there.
pretty cool,
It is
but-
pretty cool. And we were just super pissed off. when
What's
we
that
got-
house up there? Or
There's
can't
a
you-
caretaker. That's not
Oh.
his, but he lives like
Can't you
right
get to it
next
from behind? No. You can't
No,
start
because
up-
that's
Sensor,
you
yeah,
got.
you can't take the road. You have to literally hike up the mountain. And I
Do you have a picture of this mountain?
no.
Not like a good one.
I don't really want to pull it up anyway for anybody else so they can go find it. This location is the top secret. And anyway, if you were going to go do it, I would not recommend it because there's
Have
not
fun,
worth it.
yeah.
Have fun.
Or
no.
jeans.
No, I wish I would have jeans. Jeans would have saved the day.
Yeah, we were all wearing
How'd you get
shorts.
down? Just the same way?
Getting
Same
down
way.
in the dark. Oh my! There was a lot of swearing. I'll tell you that. It was
It took 45 minutes.
We went quick because we were just like running. At that point, my legs
Like
are
hot
so.
rod.
And there's no trail.
There's no trail. There's no trail.
I mean, there is, but it's not really a trail.
It's hard to find.
It's
kind
not a
of make
trail.
your own
It's
trail.
back and
water. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He was like hot rod. You're just stumbling down the wooden glen. And
At the
like
point
bouncing.
where our legs are so cut up, I'm just like, who cares? I'm gonna walk through every thorn, and the spider webs were coming. There's spiders, like huge spiders.
I had like blood patches on my knees.
What kind of big animals do you think were stalking you on the way down? Like
wild boar.
boars, probably. That
I don't
tiger.
know who. None of them are probably climbing that
And the
thing.
amount of things that stuck to your pants and stuff.
Oh, it's
Gosh,
so
the
bad.
burrs and everything. Oh.
We drive like 10 minutes out of the town, get out of the gas station, everybody strips down and puts on new clothes.
Yeah, we're all there sitting on the highway naked, just stripping down, putting different everything.
we were ready
So
for a
hot
16-hour
and-
drive back.
Yeah, and then we drove 16 hours back to Minnesota.
Oh, that'd be cool.
No shower.
Left at 9 o'clock.
No,
16 straight.
16 hours straight. Drove right back to Minnesota. Got back at 1 or 2.
1
So.
o'clock.
Moral of the story: don't break the law. And you want
Hey.
to.
More of the story,
Yeah.
heck of a road trip.
Heck of a
Lots
road
of
trip,
fun.
good time, and that is the podcast for the night. It was a lot of fun. Just going talking
It was
about
a cheap road trip.
cheap road trip. Yeah, it was a cheap time. A lot of people. If you want to do travel, we have a whole podcast on traveling road
You
trips.
would check it out. We don't want to go deep, but I always like to ask, what did you guys eat like when you were there? And stuff.
Oh,
we
well,
tried out.
Yeah, you know, steak and shake.
Colin's not much for trying out
Whataburger.
different foods.
Especially
but
in Orleans. What'd you get there?
New Orleans.
I wanted to get the Cajun
Yeah.
special, so we went on Bourbon Street. We went to a place called Johnny White's, I think is the name of it, and I got the
Gotta spend a little
I
money
got
now.
the I spent like $25. I got the Cajun something. It had
Crawfish.
Shrimp.
crawfish, shrimp, red beans,
have to.
rice. Oh, I have to. You have to. Has the spice in it. Oh my gosh, I ate the
Creole.
whole thing. Yeah, it was so good. Peter got chicken Alfredo.
Chicken Alfredo,
I think Colin
yeah,
got chicken
Southern.
strips. The kids
Were
made.
they Cajun chicken strips?
No, they were just normal.
I feel like
They
we
were
went
not
to-
good
Where did we
either.
go in Atlanta?
We went to Whataburger and we had to try Whataburger.
Whataburger. That's the first time you've had it?
The first time.
Alabama.
Yeah, down in Phoenix, when we go visit my folks, we make a big deal about
Really,
going there.
it's it was good, but it wasn't. I've heard so many people hype it up. It wasn't
I
like
didn't have a
anything.
good
crazy.
Pete's orders got
Pete
messed
order
up
got messed up
these
twice in a row.
Do you get the
so-
green pepper burger? I think it's
No,
beef.
I just got the Whataburger, the double Whataburger or something. And then we also ate at a really good barbecue place. We had to try the barbecue in Atlanta. You know, they're known for it.
Yeah.
We had a smoke. We ate at a place called Twin Smokers. If you're around, you better put some time aside to sit down. It takes a while.
I think that's a major part of a road trip is like eating.
But I
You have
get,
to eat
you know,
the
there was a game going on that day too. There was a lot of people
Yeah.
in town.
Highly recommend if you're going to travel, you got to try the cuisine.
Anyone
from the
upset
local.
about Drew Brees down there? You
I
got hurt?
I haven't heard anything. No. But
well,
yeah.
we left after that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And
Yeah.
one more story. Colin got his car stuck in a parking lot.
Oh, jeez.
We parked in this parking lot everywhere around the stadium where we were for that abandoned college. Everywhere around there was like $40 parking. So we find this church parking lot,
Oh.
and we park in it.
Right
There's
in the open.
no
Two
one,
cars in there.
2 cars in there. So we park in. We're like, we'll have no issue. So then we go check out these abandoned buildings and come back, and the gates to the parking lot are shut. And we're like,
All
you
them are
got
locked
to be
up.
kidding
Oh,
me.
no.
So we go up to this car, and there's 2 people in it, and we talk to them, and they're like, yeah, a cop came by and said there's 2 cars in the parking lot that haven't paid. So he's going to come back here and probably issue a citation or whatever. And we're like, oh, we got to get out of here. So we're trying to like figure out. Peter finds this
There was
curb.
no way to get out besides the curb.
So Peter finds a curb area big enough for Colin's car to drive over the curb and go onto the road.
This
so
was a tall curb too.
it was
wasn't
a
no
tall.
small
It
one.
was a tall curb. So Colin drives his car up onto the curb, and we all hop in and get out of there. We book it out of there because we were not about to pay or get towed or anything.
So what was the moral?
Moral of the story: make sure you pay
Pay.
because we also got a parking ticket in New York on the New York road trip. We got a parking
Were there
ticket.
tolls on the way down?
No tolls. We
No.
never paid one
Did it?
toll.
Yep.
We avoided them on the way back going through Indiana. So there's always ways to be smart, save money, obey the law. You won't have any issues.
Yeah, and I can just sit here and enjoy it.
Yep,
Picture-wise.
So next week, like I said, we will be here with a special guest talking about the psychology of serial killers back here in Minnesota, in Wyndham.
Yeah,
I'm about to say in
get
Minnesota,
this
in Wyndham.
It's actually in September. We'll get this October going, right?
October, yeah. Well, September's
next
gonna
week.
kick it off, kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. And then October's gonna be a fun-filled month. So it's gonna be a good couple episodes of the podcast here. And just make sure you're out there, getting the podcast out there, telling your friends about it, telling Pete about it, telling everybody about it. You
Yeah. take a legal mini road trip. Enjoy.
Yeah, legal
Take a
legal
weekend. Go
legal
somewhere
trip.
this weekend.
Yeah. Go out and do stuff.
Go to Wilder.
See this amazing world, and go to Wilder and
In town, just drive around. The
Yeah.
sites.
So thank you guys all for being here tonight. Been a great episode of the podcast. We'll be back next week. We hope everyone tunes back in for an amazing episode. This is the Clerc
You're gonna
Podcast Show.
want to.